Hey y'all, but AVT Pro Smasher, and I don't know why I said that, but that's what I said, and I meant it to. So let me get you a little bit of good news. So my iTunes account is working again, and let me see some more light. Sorry, y'all. My iTunes account. Okay. Yes, I am wearing the PJs. I am wearing the PJs. PJs, yes. Somebody told me that this actually is a football team and not a basketball team. Oh well. But anyway, my iTunes account is actually working again, and I do apologize. I'm making videos, but I'm not posting them. Something's going on here. I had crazy. Oh man, is other people's life as crazy as mine sometimes? Man, I have like just stupid stuff sometimes, and I have so much drama, and then there's so many good things, so I gotta be thankful. So I want to talk about something, but I'll lead to it. My iTunes account is working. I'm very happy that it's working. I'm happy it's working. That's what my iTunes. So I told you that it got ripped off one time, and somebody started downloading like some gangster rock and roll something like that, right? But it was through PayPal. I got care of this. I started spreading my password around, and it just somebody just nabbed it. I put in one service, and it was the same as my iTunes account. So don't keep your passwords all the same, no matter what they say. And so, anyhow, they ordered this, but PayPal is awesome. They're great. They say you're not going to pay for anything you didn't buy, and so they fixed it. So, I finished the film project, but there's a couple of concerns with the format. He said 2K, and I said 1920 should be good enough, and there's a little bit discrepancy. Okay, so you could just scale it up, but it depends on the aspect ratio. So there's some problems. So and so it's out of town. He's out of town, so I don't know. It's not a problem. It should work. It should be fine, but it's something that I should have had technically completely worked out from the beginning, and it just didn't happen. So that's kind of mistake you only make once. So I made some other mistakes too, and they were mistakes that you only make once. But it just reminds me of something that I'm going through, and so I thought about Judas. Um, I'm going through some betrayal, and just some lying, and somebody lying to me. And so it made me think about Judas. And there's a particular line in Judas where he says, they're all eating supper. I got into this interesting discussion on Facebook too, with a couple of my brothers and Reg. Of course, Reg is a major contributor to a lot of things that I'm doing. So there are a lot of things that I'm on Facebook and stuff like that. So we got into the discussion about Judas, and I'm posted something, and I've been posting a lot of things because I'm trying to kind of purge and deal with this, pain and the hurt for somebody just doing something, probably one of the most unethical things that I have ever come across. Um, well, I don't know about that. I don't want to go that far, but just whoa. And so, uh, so it reminded me of this one point of Judas, where Judas, where they're sitting in the supper, and Jesus said, "When are you gonna betray me?" So, right, to say that, right, get this, to say that Jesus had to already know, and he said it 1,000 times, "When are y'all gonna betray me?" And so my point is, this is the main point. is that God knows of this evil before it actually happens. That's why he's God, okay? He already knows that. That's why he can protect his people, because he can let them know about the evil that somebody else is going to do to them before they do it, right? And he can just prepare you for it, you know. And so and so it's a way of protecting, and it's probably some other things. But the fact that if he can do that, it's like he's watching. He's not only watching his child, but he's also watching what the evil person is doing, right? So that should make you be mindful of what evil you do. I was like, you know, he reads the heart from afar, you know. So before you even hit your mind, he already knows it's in your heart, you know. So that was amazing to me, because God has also let people know, like Joseph. You know, as good as Herod was, and as crafty and wicked he was, you know, and he fooled the mage or the magi or the so-called wise man, the wise man. He said to him, he says, you know, you're going to see this Christ. When you get back, just tell me where he is so that I can come and adore him as well. So just let me know where he's at. And they were like, because I want to shower with gifts. And so the angels come to her. I forgot who came to him, but it was in a dream or something. And they said, don't go back that way. Go back west, because, you know, I don't even think they even told him, but they told him, don't go back that way. Because God already knew what he was going to do. And even in the case of Joseph that had Christ, the child, he said, look, do not, he says, go to Egypt, because Herod is killing, he's killing all the children underneath 2 years old. So I want you to go to Egypt. And so he was able to save Christ from harm, because God let him know ahead of time. And so God does that with his people all the time, every day. If it's that important, he'll do it. If it's just that evil, or if it's in his wisdom or whatever. So, but in the case of Christ, when he was with Judas, he says, one of you will betray me. I didn't read the scripture before it, but Judas says, you know, is it I? Now this is what was really, this is what really got me, because he's saying, after he done met, right? So this is God. God does all his miracles and everything like that. He told him where a fish that had a coin in his mouth, right? Because they said one time, said, we don't have any money. He said, go down to the river and there's going to be a fish and it has a coin. Okay, just like he did with Jonah, and like that fish was right there on time, right? so, so knowing all the things that God can do or Christ have done, then he says, is it I? Now, this is what gets me. Judas had been planning this already. So even Judas knows that he's going to do this evil. But then he says to Christ, is it I? So what is that? That's like a misleading lie. Like right there, flat in front of God's face. As after all that God has done, all the blessings, you would think that he would know what's going down. And so Judas says, is it I? So that's just a straight lie. A straight lie. And that one significance, and that one significant thing, you know, you would just look at it and say, oh, is it me? Well, I wonder if Judas was like, you know, he still didn't get who Christ was, you know, or if he was trying to avoid it, you know, or trying to lie his way out of that. But that's pretty bad, because there's also a scripture in the Bible that talked about, oh, what's their name? Sapphira and Ananias. And so God had blessed them. God had blessed them mightily. And was providing all their needs. And then he said, and then they said, well, we didn't have this or something like that. And so he says, well, go and sell this, and then you'll have something to give. So they sold it, and they got a good price for it. I don't know. I think it might have been a house. I'm not sure, or oil, or whatever. But they had or bottles or whatever. But they had a good price for it. And so they sold it, and they come and they bring it to God, and they bring it to Paul, who was, administering. And he says, he says to the man, he said, the two had gotten together, Ananias and his wife Sapphira, and he says, let's hold a portion of this money for ourselves. And so God had blessed them with the gift, and he says to them, hey, uh, you know, we're gonna keep some of this to ourselves. And then he goes and tries, and he goes to them, and he says, here's the money, and he says, well, where's part of it? This is only part of it. Where's the rest of it? And he just went up in shock. And no, he says to you, he says to them, he says, wait a minute, I've given you the money. You've had it in your power to give it to it. And even when you had it in power, I think that they might have been left a portion for themselves. And then they still decided to corrupt or do something corrupt. And so the one guy, Ananias, he dropped dead. Then another guy comes, the wife comes. So they didn't let her know, and they drag his dead body out. And they didn't let her know. They kept it closed door. Nobody told them. And so she comes in. So they give her a fair chance to tell the truth, in case the husband had just influenced her. And he says, where's the rest of the money? I'm going to go back and read it. But he says, where's the rest of the money? And she was like, that was it. That's it. And so they lied to God. They knew what was going on, and they specifically lied to God. And it just gets me, that when you tell these lies, and they don't even make logical sense, they don't even add up. They're not even a good lie, and think that God just doesn't know the difference. So I just wanted to kind of, a lot of people say, my word is my bond. Really, your word is all you got. So if you don't keep your word, it's like, you can't prosper. You can't do good business because you can't keep your word. It's like, who wants to sign up with a crook? You can't. It'll never grow. So God bless you. Just keep that in mind. Keep your word the best of your ability. You can't be perfect, but just the best you can. Okay. God bless you. Bye now.